Welcome back. You are listening to La Media. It is 11 minutes past 12, and it's time for the My Journey to Islam segment. Today's guest is no stranger to Salam Media. He is also the Deputy Provincial Secretary General for the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council. So he was born in Orlando, West Soweto, in a Catholic family, and he relocated to Krugersdorp in his late teens, where he befriended a Muslim, and that's where his journey to Islam started. And we're going to find out more. He is on the line right now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi.
Walaikum salam, Ukhti. Good again to be here with the viewers at Salam Media.
Alhamdulillah, it's always a pleasure. All right, sir. Now tell us about your journey to Islam. What attracted you to Islam, and how did the journey begin?
Well, during my teens, I've always been a curious person, religiously speaking. I mean, I used to read the Bible on my own, from Genesis to Revelation, and I used to repeat the thing over and over again. And having been born into a Catholic family, there were a lot of things that never made sense to me. For example, without being necessarily critical of them, so to speak, is that like whenever we went to church, we had these statues of Jesus, the works, the crosses, and what have you. And then there was this statue of Mary, wherein whenever the ladies, prayed, they will actually look up to that statue, face the statue, and say, "Holy Mary, Mother of God, please forgive our sins," and they'll go on and so forth. So when I read the Bible and then having had discussions with some of the youth in the church and some elders, a lot of things never made sense to me. So, but this I never discussed with any member of my family. It was just me having an issue with what I was seeing, which was rather contradictory to what I was reading in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So when I relocated to Krugersdorp, I befriended a brother by the name of Spiwe Mdlankoma. Sadly, he passed away about 15, 20 years ago. When I befriended him, little did I know that he was a Muslim. In fact, his parents, his mother in particular, and another family in Kagiso were what we call the first families of Islam in the community at that time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know then when I befriended him. So what used to happen then was, it was during our school break, holidays. And then I would go to his house on Fridays to go visit him. Coincidentally, I used to go on a Friday. Why? I don't know. But at each Friday when I went, his mother would tell me, no, Spiwe is going to church. So it never made sense to me as to what kind of a church that actually has like a gathering on a Friday. Mm. So they will say that to me all the time. So whenever he came back, I'll ask him, "But you went to church on a Friday?" So he somehow laughed it off. So one Friday afternoon, I decided to actually go to his house a bit earlier. And I said, "Look, I want to go to this Friday church with you." So he kind of laughed it off and insisted that I shouldn't come with. I wouldn't understand. So I said, "Look, I really want to go to this Friday church. It's quite unusual of a church that actually sits on a Friday every week. Because each time I come over to see you on these Fridays, you're always at this church on Friday. So I want to come with today." So then he was like, "You know what? It's fine. Let's go." So then, so I accompanied him to Azadville. And when I arrived at the masjid, it was the first time ever I was in a mosque. And all he ever did to me was show me the wudu. He just said, "Please follow what I do. I'll explain everything to you." Then I made my first wudu. And then I sat at the back rows, obviously. And at that very moment, I knew I belonged. Everything just made sense. Nothing was ever said to me. I just sat there at the back, listening to the khutbah and the bayan. Everything made perfect sense, that I actually belonged here. I found the spiritual answers I've been looking for at that very moment. So that's how my journey to Islam began.
Oh, subhanAllah.
Then the rest is history, obviously. Then,
how did your family take it?
Yes,
were they welcoming to your reversion to Islam? Did they kick you out? Tell us about that.
Well, two of my cousins actually disowned me. One particular cousin went on to even say that I was no more a member of her family because of I being trying to be something I wasn't. And What was even worse was that I was never even given an opportunity to explain, to actually give dawah, if you may, to give reasons behind what Islam is, the differences between Christianity and Islam, and so forth. That was never, I was never given an opportunity to discuss. They just owed me those two particular relatives. And then my mother was indifferent. She was like, look, it's your journey, go ahead. We're happy that you found a place that you feel comfortable in, spiritually speaking. So she was quite indifferent in that regard. But over the years, she saw the different person that I became as I started learning more about the faith, attending madrasa and the works, and that I became a different person altogether. And as a result, she somehow started accepting the faith.
Mm-hmm. Okay, mashallah. Usman Renderi says, may Allah protect you and love you eternally, my beloved brother. Ameen for that dua. Take us through your first Ramadan. How was the first fast? How did it go?
Oh man, I was in matric when my first Ramadan happened. So you can imagine, I'm new in the faith. I'm still trying to find my way around. So you can imagine, I was the only Muslim in that high school. The only Muslim in the entire high school. Now everybody will be eating. And I'll be sitting there staring at people eating, and it never made sense to them as to why wasn't I eating. You understand? And the difficulty of spending 30 days with people eating in front of me, and with me not having anywhere else to go to, how can I say, avoid the company of my fellow schoolmates and friends and whatever, was I don't know, should I use the word torture or what? But for them, it was as if I was torturing myself, and I also made them feel uncomfortable in that I would be offered food and I wouldn't be able to eat. And I'll try to explain that I'm fasting, and it never made sense to them. So it was quite difficult, I must be honest, because I was at high school. So you can imagine a high school boy surrounded by an army of Christians, and you being the only Muslim in that school, for that matter, and having to fast for 30 days. So it was really a challenge, but it was a welcome challenge going forward.
All right. Please stay with us on the line. I'm going to take a quick break, but we'll continue when we return.
Okay, very well.
Your humanitarian broadcaster.
Hey, good morning. Hi, sis.
After all these years, millions of Syrian refugees and displaced persons are still struggling to get adequate food and nutrition. Since 2014, the Al-Imdad Foundation's Flour for Syria campaign has provided daily bread to these Syrians. For just 5,000 Rand, you can sponsor 1 ton of flour and ensure that 10,000 pita loaves are delivered to desperate Syrian communities. Part donations are also accepted. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
With over 80 years of experience, IG Hussein and Company are renowned for their quality Islamic wear and goods. IG Hussein and Company stock a variety of Islamic items, musallas, kitabs, Medina dates, perfumes and exclusive gifts. We guarantee you a unique and friendly shopping experience for the entire family. Visit our new branch in Overport at 202 Kenilworth Park, Brickfield Road. Open 7 days a week with ample parking and wheelchair friendly. Like us on Facebook or Instagram at IG Hussein for our latest promotions and updates. IG Hussein and Company, your Islamic lifestyle.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
You are listening to the Maryam Mkwanda Show on Salam Media. And for today's My Journey to Islam, I am chatting to Thabiso Twala, who is the Deputy Provincial Secretary General for the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council. Assalamu alaikum, Akhi, shukran for staying on the line. I'd like to know what work has the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council done for the indigenous Black South African Muslims?
Okay, a difficult question, I must say. You must understand that we formed the Shura about 6 years ago this year. And in forming the Shura, the challenge was primarily first to organize indigenous Muslims along all the 5 regions of the province, which has not been easy at all. And what has made issues very difficult in as far as organizing people is concerned has to do primarily first with the element of finances. As one would know that the Shura, we do not have even a standing physical office. We don't have a building wherein we sit. We run the Shura in our masajid most of the time. We have our meetings in all the various masajid in the province. So we don't have a standing building. We don't have faxes, etc., etc. So we are in a financial dire situation since our formation. We don't have any sponsorships, nothing. Every sponsorship or every, I can say, program that we have done has primarily come from our own pockets. So with regards to doing something for the indigenous community, we started primarily first with organizing people along those, or along masajid to say that let every masajid have a standing shura in itself, have an amir, and etc., and relevant communities and so forth, who will start to account to the communities that they're involved in. Secondly, we went on to conceptualize the South African Black Muslim Conference, because the understanding here is that as indigenous Muslims, our situation is very unique to us. We're coming from Christian background, most of us. We have a handful of some of us who were actually born into the faith, but there are quite a handful. So with regards to this dynamics that have to do with some of us being disowned in our families, dealing with the various aspects of Islam in as far as the sectarian differences are concerned, and also issues of finances, issues of creating a cohesive community is concerned. Then we conceptualize the SABMC to say, let us come together as indigenous Muslims to start to discuss issues that affect us as a community in the country. Because granted, sadly, I mean, it is actually historical that we are a marginalized community by the established Muslim community of this country. So we're looking at a problem that has been with us for the last, I would say, 200 years, if not more. I mean, Islam came into the country in the 1800s, if you may, since the arrival of the Malay slaves and the Indians in the 1860s and what have you. But Islam only started growing in the indigenous communities about 40, 50 years ago. So we have had to deal with a historical problem in a short space of time. So the 6 years that the Shura has been formed, we can't really say we have achieved much, save for the fact that we have tried our level best to organize people along all the communities, and also to try to create a sense of independence in all their respective masajids, for example. A case in point is we're having, for example, issues in Tshwane. We had a problem in Tshwane, in Pretoria. I think it was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I stand corrected. I think you may actually recall, whereby there was an alim who actually called a student a monkey, who was very racist towards black students. Our affiliate, the Tshwane Muslim Shura Council, took up that matter to actually fight the scourge of racism in that particular school. But then the whole aspect spread on to actually dealing with racism across all Muslim schools in the province in particular. But then it went on to be escalated even nationwide, if you may. So those are among the things that we've been trying to fight as a Gauteng Shura. And also one aspect that we've been trying to do as the Shura is to establish a what we call a CFI, a community financial institution, like a corporate bank, wherein all our people will invest into this bank and become financially independent, so that we can be able to take financial responsibility of our centers. Because the reality that we're sitting with is that not many of our communities are able to take care of themselves, take care of those centers. We rely on the established community to help us and so forth, which is not, I mean, it is not really viable at the end of the day, because we're talking here about the element of self-respect and dignity and what have you. So once people can't take care of themselves, it becomes a bit of a challenge. So hence we're working on forming this community, the CFI. We're calling it, we have given it a name by the name of Arayan. So we're working on establishing Arayan as a community financial institution of its kind in the country, and the second of its kind in the continent, wherein if ever we get the support that we need from across the indigenous Muslim community, then it will be so viable. We'll be able to take care of our centers and of ourselves, and we'll become a community in the true sense of the word.
I mean, may Allah make it possible. Now, what advice would you like to give to anyone who is interested in Islam? I mean, what dawah would you say to someone?
I think the first dawah, a person will be interested in Islam, they will have to first have an understanding of their own faith first. Like with me, I mean, on a personal level, like I said, I used to read the Bible quite regularly. Even up to this day, I still read the Bible. I still even post biblical chapters that are actually relevant, that actually make sense to us, because as you will know that in Islam, we consider Christians as the Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book. So we have a relationship in that regard, even to the extent that we are even allowed to even marry within the people of the book. So I would say whoever wants to become Muslim, let them first understand their own faith before they understand Islam. And then they must never look at Muslims. They must never look at Thabiso Twala. Thabiso Twala is an individual with his flaws. Let them read Islamic text and understand it from that context, not from the context of an individual, because individuals are flawed. That's what I'm saying.
All right, definitely. Shukran so much for your time and for sharing your journey with us. Hopefully it inspires someone out there.
Ameen. No. Thank you very much for hosting me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was Thabiso Twala, the Deputy Provincial Secretary General of the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council, sharing his journey to Islam with us. If you have any comments, you can leave them in the comments section below, or you can send them to WhatsApp on 061 766 0355. You are listening to the Maryam Mkwanda Show on Salam Media. Yeah, guys, you can also be featured on the show if you have an inspiring story to share. If you want to share your journey to Islam with us, this is the platform, and we welcome you anytime, even in studio. You can pop up anytime. Well, not anytime, on a Monday at 12. So thank you for tuning in, and do stay with us. We will be right back after the break.